September 29th. Thank God for the weather change, which has helped wash away the garbage summer fits off the sidewalks. I'm driving all around now, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It's a long journey, but it keeps me inspired. I see hundreds of outfits of what not to wear. Sometimes I'll even see a good outfit. All the trash fits come out at night. Tech bros, hype beasts, cloud chasers, TikTokers, performative males. Lame. Garbage. Someday a real brand will come and clean all these trash fits off the streets. I see it all over. I see it in Williamsburg, Bushwick, I see it in the East Village. I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. It does to some. Some people don't care what others wear. It don't make no sense to me.
With all the iconic outfits in film, I can't think of one that's as unnerving as it is cool, like Travis Bickle's mohawk, maniacal grin, paired with an M65 field jacket and some aviator sunglasses. Some people consider Travis to be a villain, others consider him as a hero, and the rest think of him as an anti-hero. But one thing is for certain, menswear enthusiasts think he's stylish. But why is that? Travis's style has both been copied for Halloween costumes, as well as inspiration and direction for people's wardrobes. And I think the explanation for the latter, in part, is because of its simplicity. It consists of two different elements, Western and military wear, with fitted t-shirts, Western and plaid button-ups, military jackets, jeans, and cowboy boots. And throughout the film, he essentially has three main looks. When we first meet him, he wears a flannel shirt, military jacket, faded blue jeans, as well as some cowboy boots. The shirt features 70s collar points, a Western yoke, and pearl snaps. The jeans are Lee Rider 101s that have a classic straight fit, where you get this slightly slimmer leg, and a faded medium wash paired with some cognac brown Cuban heeled cowboy boots that have this diamond quilting on the shaft. The fade on those jeans are unreal. You can tell he's been wearing them every day essentially for way too long, really beating them in and creating this amazing patina on them. And then those boots are gorgeous, from the wear to the diamond quilting to the overall shape. It's just magnificent. The jacket is the second or 26A model of the tanker jacket, with its slightly oversized and somewhat cropped fit hitting above his hips, and with details like the knitted collar, gusseted back, patches, and screen printing. This jacket is one of my favorite pieces throughout the entire film. Nick from Bam Style also pointed out that the jacket essentially predates Travis Bickle, with it being produced from 1941 to 1943, and Travis Bickle being born in 1950. I'm personally glad that they took creative liberties with this jacket and had him wear it, because it's such an awesome silhouette and helped complete a lot of his looks. And I think it added to his character arc, because if he just wore the M65 field jacket the entire film, his transformation at the end wouldn't have hit as hard. After this scene, we see him in multiple renditions of this look with different flannels, plaids, and plain Western shirts. My personal favorites being the red and cream one and the red and white one. I just think it pops on the screen really well. But all of them slightly relaxed in the shoulders with a shaped waist, keeping it slim on him, as well as all of them having similar Western details. These outfits are simple yet perfectly executed, from the silhouette or fit to the details to the color palette, which is why they're so striking on screen. Everything seemed to have been thought of. Before we get into the second look, I want to note that Travis most likely buys most, if not all, of his clothes from workwear stores. So although he might have 70s collar points and his color palette might match the decade, he doesn't really keep up with fashion or trends. We can tell he's not on top of the latest fashions with his maroon corduroy sport coat that he wears, with it looking closer to the 1960s with a narrower lapel, less structured shoulders, and less tapered in the waist. But with all that being said, it still fits him nicely and looks good. His brown and teal plaid shirt, or the white Western button-up with brown and orange striped tie, are worn underneath the jacket, which are the only scenes where we see him dress up, putting on a show for Betsy. On bottom are these slightly flared trousers, laying perfectly over his cowboy boots and complete the outfit perfectly. And although this isn't really who Travis is, the outfit looks good, it's a nice change of pace, and I think the sport coat kind of helps give him a more well-rounded wardrobe. Now, he does wear his third look multiple times, but the one that everybody thinks about when they hear Travis Bickle or Taxi Driver is when he wears the white Western button-up and dark blue flared jeans. Most people recognize the Lee Rider 101s as the jeans that he wears, but he also puts on what I believe are a pair of Levi's flared jeans based off of the rivets as well as the bar tacks. He wears his cowboy boots once again, as well as his aviator sunglasses that has been seen a handful of times throughout the film. And then the final jacket, of course, is the Vietnam era M65 field jacket. This one is a classic. 4 pockets, rounded collar, epaulettes, and back armhole gussets. It is a bit longer going past his hips, which is fine, but I personally think the tanker jacket fits him better because of its cropped fit, lengthening his torso compared to the M65 field jacket, which is making him look a little bit shorter. Regardless though, this outfit feels so bold and iconic, and that jacket was made infamous in part because of Travis Bickle. I personally think that it should be a starter jacket for most menswear enthusiasts because of its surprising versatility. You can wear it very casual with a t-shirt, sweatshirt, jeans, some sneakers if you really want, or you can dress it up with pleated trousers, loafers, a crispy button-up and tie, and throw the jacket over. Or you can even throw the field jacket over a sport coat, and it'll look just as good. Throughout all these looks, he's wearing a brown belt with this big belt buckle that is a perfect accessory to all his outfits, as well as his aviator sunglasses that he wears. Travis is not one to over-accessorize, but when he does accessorize, it looks great. Now those are his 3 main looks, which are great, but what I find really interesting is that as the film progresses, Travis starts to unravel, both in his mannerisms as well as his appearance. In the beginning of the film, he's a bit more of an ambiguous character, which is where we see him with a shaggy haircut, 5 o'clock shadow, which is contrasted by his semi-casual outfit with buttoned up and tucked in button-ups, coming off as a put-together person. As the film progresses, he starts to unravel, which shows through with a unnervingly short haircut, as well as a more disheveled look with his button-ups unbuttoned and untucked. And when he finally snaps, his mohawk is menacing, paired with an unnerving grin, dark shades covering his beady eyes, and he is looking for blood with an M65 field jacket on. Now this last look is a lot more harrowing than the previous ones, but as crazy as it sounds, it's still wearable. People still pull inspiration from it, which is why I think it is so iconic. I love how Marty and the costume designer Ruth Morley used his wardrobe and hair to help show the unraveling of his mental well-being. Now I know I said that he essentially has 3 main looks, which I stand by that. There are a couple other outfits that he wears very briefly that I think are still worth talking about. First, he was somehow ahead of his time with this yellow and red Marines t-shirt, worn inside out, a detail that so many people copy today. It's so crazy to think of him ahead of his time, but I'm gonna chalk this up to a broken clock being right twice a day, because I don't think he was cognizant of any of that kind of stuff. There's also the short sleeve Western button-up that he wears with a lot of the same Western details to the long sleeves. This time, just as a short sleeve, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more oversized on him. And it is paired with a couple of gun holsters, which if he wasn't a narcissistic psychopath, this would be a pretty rad outfit. I mean, low-key, it kind of is. And the last outfit, which is one of, if not my favorites in the film, is the red and white flannel with pearl snaps, worn under that tanker jacket, but instead of jeans, he wears the beige trousers over the cowboy boots. There's something about the mostly earth tone color palette with this pop of red that really sells it for me, and then everything just fits like a glove. Travis wears these clothes because they're closely linked with and a portrayal of masculinity, which is extremely important to him. And Scorsese has said that he was influenced by John Wayne's character, Ethan Edwards, in the film The Searchers, who is a morally ambiguous but masculine character set in the Wild West. And Travis sees himself as a cowboy, but without the moral ambiguity, which is why we see him in flannels, Western button-ups, jeans, cowboy boots, even the big belt buckle that he's seen throughout the film. And then there's his military jackets. Much like cowboys, the US military was looked at to be the de facto good guys, but after the Vietnam War, that fallacy started to crumble, and a lot of people realized the horrors that were made possible by the military-industrial complex. And I think that the combination of Travis's wardrobe with his actions are a reflection of that. A man that sees himself as the good guy and is trying to be seen as the good guy by the greater population, but in reality is causing harm. Now, how is it that an out-of-touch, repugnant character in so many ways ends up looking so stylish? I mentioned a few things already, with the fit or silhouette of a lot of his clothes, the details, as well as the consistency that he wears his clothes, which I want to expand on. His wardrobe is like a capsule closet. There is no filler. The few pieces that he does have are interchangeable with each other, and because of this, it leads them to have stains, wrinkles, general wear and tear. And in menswear, A lived-in wardrobe is admired and respected, and Travis accomplishes that very well. Thanks to Travis, I realized that plaid shirts aren't corny. They just need to have a lived-in and worn-in look. Even the extras in this film, which many of them were just people pulled off the New York City streets, dressed the same way. Since people in the 70s weren't over-consuming yet, they had a much more limited wardrobe, which helped create more character in their clothes, which makes them look better than people today. And I think overall, the general population of the 70s that were not in tune with fashion still dressed better compared to unfashionable people today, because as a society, we've become a little bit more conservative with what we wear. Back to Travis, I also mentioned that he doesn't care about fashion, which sounds counterintuitive when trying to be stylish, but just follow me. Rather than dressing conventionally fashionable, he's geared towards more utilitarian and workwear clothing. Menswear, especially today, pulls inspiration from blue-collar workers like farmers, fishermen, coal miners, all of which who wear and wore utilitarian and workwear clothes. So even if it's unintentional on his end, we are still able to appreciate his sense of style. Also, I think it's worth noting that nowadays it's a lot more common and encouraged to wear different fashions from different decades. So him wearing a 1960s coat during the 70s, we're not really gonna bat an eye at it. Lastly, I have to mention Robert De Niro's physique. Although I think essentially anybody can pull off these outfits, it doesn't hurt to have his body type. The clothes either accentuates his lean figure or creates a more dramatic silhouette, which enhances his overall aesthetic. It's easier to pull off slim jeans and a slim flannel if you have a lean figure, but that does not mean that the big dogs can't pull off this look. Just look at somebody like Matty Matheson. Now, if you want to dress similar to Travis Bickle, it's pretty easy thanks to its simplicity. If you can wear them, slim-fitted graphics and blanks look great. And lightweight to medium weight 70s flannels aren't too hard to come by. Just make sure that they have waist shaping on them like the Triple L branded ones, so they fit a little closer to your body. The Western details are optional, but I personally just love them, but you should definitely have 70s collar points, at least something like this. For bottoms, in my opinion, there's nothing better than a good fitting pair of classic straight fit jeans. If you treat them right, you can get decades out of them. And I know I'm biased here, but I think everybody should get a pair of cowboy boots or cowboy-like boots, especially something with a little bit narrower shaft and a Cuban heel, but maybe that's just me. I will say finding a vintage 40s tanker jacket at a decent price will be extremely hard to find, but there are new and vintage replicas from like the 80s and 90s that you can find. You just have to scour the internet. You will be able to find one like I did. Just remember, relaxed in the shoulders, tapers towards the waist, and cropped fit. Luckily, M65 field jackets are super easy to find, whether they be new replicas like Alpha Industries or Rothco to vintage ones. They are all over the internet, and what's really nice about them is they come in various lengths and sizes so you can find your perfect fit. Lastly, big belt buckles and gold-rimmed aviator sunglasses shouldn't be too hard to find, with there being options on eBay for like 50 bucks. And there you have it. You look like Travis Bickle. Congrats. I'll put some links down below of brands and eBay listings for anybody that wants to get that Travis Bickle look. Taxi Driver is one of those films that the deeper you look, the more that you find and can be inspired by. When I first watched it years ago, all I noticed was Travis's outfits. But as the making of this video progressed, I found more and more, whether it be workwear or 70s inspired clothes, but all of it was great inspiration. But one thing was for certain, Travis was always in the forefront. I am certain of a couple of things regarding Taxi Driver. Travis Bickle is no hero cowboy saving the day, but he is a stylish man. What do you think about his style, and what are you going to be pulling from this film? That is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the short. It was very difficult, but fun and exciting for me, and it's something that I really want to keep doing. So if you do like it, please let me know down in the comments below. And while you're doing that, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend, all that good stuff. Follow me on my social. It's all linked down below. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Letterboxd. As always, in addition to the clothing links that I'll be posting down below, I'm also going to post the articles and videos that I watched in preparation for this film or for this video. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.